Alright, let's skip the bullshit. Let's skip the bullshit right now. Why not? Uh-oh, looks like Discord's fucking up. Hold on. Okay. Alright. Oh, maybe he's still fucking up. Nope, it's fine. Okay, so since we want to talk about it, let's talk about it. First and foremost, just so there's no more sneak dissing and shit like that. Non Sequitur Show, I did reach out to Mandisa Thomas, and she's the founder of Black Non-Believers, and also reached out to Mario Stanton, the founder of Black Atheists. And oddly enough, they had already seen clips of your video. They weren't too happy. Good luck getting them on your show, by the way. So now that that's over, there's something that people should probably know, and I want to really elucidate this just so folks understand kind of the optics of this shit going on with Imp and how that really reflects on you, because there's so many layers to that it's funny that the folks who are socially inept are trying to give social cues to other people. That's what I find interesting. That is what I find fucking hilarious. The folks with the fucking appeal of roadkill. The folks who need others to make their show, for some strange reason, want to give other people advice on how to handle shit in life. That is fucking hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. As somebody who has been used by a number of shows to get views, which that's fine. That's a part of the game, right? But let's not pretend, folks, that we are influential and movers and shakers in real life. This is a goddamn internet. Just saying. So. Folks, of course, have directed me to a video which I found fucking hilarious, but sure, let's clear up some things. Yeah, we're still talking about this. Folks ain't got nothing else better to do. That's fine. So, all right, let's put it out there. Let's put it out there. So let me elucidate a few things. If I were to say, folks, you should probably check who you associate with. If you want to be associated with this person, then I'm not going to judge you, but you should probably check it. Now, there's a few ways that you can communicate points to people. You can do it overtly, or you can do it tacitly. All right. Those of us who have some EQ, some emotional intelligence, know how to do that. It's not slick. It's not cute. It is what it is. It is you communicating a point to people. If I legitimately don't care about who you associate with, I won't ask you to check who you associate with. Why? Because I don't care. I'm not sure what about that is confusing to literally anybody, but that needs to be said for some reason. I don't know why, but it just does. So, okay, fine. So while we're trying to parse out people's statements, while we're parsing out motivations, while we're parsing out all types of things, let me just say that when people are up against a wall, when people face adversity, they show their true colors. And that's something that you learn in the military, like right on. The people who can't form a rational response to things, who can't muster up enough wherewithal to become better, are the ones that fail. And you see this time and time again. You see it in different facets of life. No matter what their downfalls may be. In some people's cases, it's homophobia. But the mark of a man, or I should say a person, is the ability to overcome adversity and to acknowledge their faults. Then the people around them, making them better because they actually care about them, is what you should look for in a friendship. Not a mutual agreement on certain beliefs. Not this YouTube bullshit. An actual bond that you have with that person. The one that you don't just discard at your earliest convenience. Because I see that a lot, and it's not relegated to any group or any faction on YouTube. Because again, some of us got better shit to do in real life. That is why when you see me on social media, it doesn't matter whether it's Facebook, where it's YouTube, I'm going to associate with people for a variety of reasons. Even people that I get red flags about. I'm going to give them an opportunity and not discard them the second that it's convenient for me to make $1 off of them. Or should I say it's convenient for me to virtue signal. Okay. Some of you saw the stream I had with Fiona. That it got kind of testy. We disagreed on something very fundamental that I find a part of my worldview. And you know what? A lot of other people do. I didn't throw her to the side. I didn't demand that she come on my platform and explain her fucking self. She is a grown-ass woman. She is a grown-ass woman. I don't summon her like a child on YouTube. And I think people need to pull their heads out their fucking asses. Thank you, Shemiam. People really need to pull their heads out of their asses. There's not shit that you're doing on your fucking YouTube channel at any point in time where you get to summon another adult and demand that they show their face to answer to something that you don't like about them at all. We do it for each other as a courtesy for whatever reason we may want to, if we had the time or desire. But there is no obligation for anybody to do that. In the words of Ozzy, I'm nobody's bitch. But let me contrast something here, folks, dealing with this Emperor situation. Now, what folks decided they want to show you, for whatever reason, are these. And you see, this is, and by the way, if you all didn't know, that's not his real name. Alex Legends is not that person's name. If you actually know him, you know his real name, which is interesting. But you see the clarification here of the points that were made for people who actually engaged him. I'm not sure how people are upset and there's a breach of trust and they're hurt and they're sad and all this, that, and the other when they didn't engage far enough in the conversation to even understand what was being stated or what was trying to be expressed, albeit poorly. But somebody did. Somebody, interestingly enough, who has less contact with him, less involved with him. And here. That I find that interesting. I find that there was a resolution here without the song and dance and dog and pony show. Here, for some reason, on Facebook of all places, a resolution was found and wasn't turned into more clicks and views and drama. Because that's not what certain people's platforms are for, folks. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's about discussion. Okay. I would love the people to sit back and think about that for a second. Because this is available for anybody who wants to see it. Go and look at the times Nate engaged with him. It didn't get turned into clicks and views on our show. That's weird. If I really got a problem with him, I'll call him and It's weird that folks who have folks' phone numbers won't pick it up and call them either. But you know what? Hey, that could be pointed directly at me too. But to me, this isn't worthy of all that. I didn't think so. But just to make sure I wasn't tripping, I went ahead and showed that video that folks sent me to a few others, and it's weird that they formed the same opinions that I did without even having a connection to this. It's so odd. I didn't even have to contact them at all, whatsoever. So when we talk about folks making money off of folks' backs and stuff like that, that's all fine and dandy. We all make a little bit of change off of this. But with this, there's something I do pride myself in. I don't toss people away when it's convenient. That's not something that's part of my character. Especially the people that I take time to know. This is an interesting junction because I've been here before, believe it or not. But I've been here before, where you have folks who try to form what they think is a bond with folks, but don't legitimately want to, because their actions betray their words. So many times, so many different platforms, been doing this since before people got YouTube channels, since before they realized they didn't really have a leg to stand on when it came to holding a crowd of their own. Certain folks. Well, that's fine. But let's be real about that. Because there's a few things. There's a few things. Few things that I want people to get out of this. At what point do you draw a line? And who is to tell you to check your left and right limits? To tell you who you should and should not associate with based on their standards. Because I don't pay your bills. I don't control your mind. What I tell you about that retard G-Man and everything else on here is my opinion. Folks who actually watch my channel and know me know to take everything that I say with a grain of salt. It is what it is. Eric Masters says, from what I'm seeing, Imp might have shown his apprehension toward bringing children to pride parades, and then it got overgeneralized to a dislike LGBTQ. That's pretty accurate. That's actually pretty accurate. If people actually engaged in the conversation with him, they would have found that out. Now, that's not to say that there are other things in that conversation that were a bit off, because there were. There's a bit more. But you know what? You're never going to figure that out if you don't actually speak to him. And when I say speak, not turn it into a spectacle for a public spanking. Because I don't know about you, but that's not how that works. Thing says everybody's at fault. Emperor shouldn't have phrased the way he did. And then the stream made about it. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. Imp ain't the most articulate motherfucker in the world. You know what? And that's fair. But I do find that's interesting. That there was the man that he appeared on the platform to justify himself, to stand before the e-court. Man, oh man, oh man. Where have folks gotten? I guess this is when you don't do shit in real life. When you don't have real life accolades, this is kind of what you have to do to address insecurities that exist within you. I don't know. I don't have those type of insecurities. I am somebody in real life, fortunately. If that rubs people the wrong way, I don't know what to tell you. But and I'm not saying that just to be flippant. I'm saying that because when Imp says stuff like my bank account gets bigger, he's obviously being hyperbolic because he doesn't care. Believe it or not, Imp is actually somebody. He is actually fairly well known in his area. That's why he says shit like that. That's why Nate can literally change the way the law is practiced with his influence. That's why when I walk through buildings, I have to avoid thoroughways because people want to come talk to me. Because those of us who are actually doing shit in real life don't care about this stupid shit. But I'll tell you what, I'll dedicate 20, 30 minutes of my morning to it. Just because I think it's that fucking funny. Just because. because it's silly once you think about it. Once you sit down and go, raise your hand in the chat if you know somebody who's homophobic and you've known them for a while. Did you cut that person off the second that you found out that, hey, they're kind of homophobic? And then later on you found out, oh wow, they're still pretty homophobic. Did you demand that they show up on your front door when you had a bullhorn and excoriate them in front of people in public? Is that the way that you handle a person who you've known for a little while, that's your friend? Is that how you do it? Because that, and maybe in my world, that's not how things work. But you don't treat your friends like that. So if people want to understand why I say the things that I say, it's evident by people's behavior. Your mom's pretty homophobic, then you should disown her. If you've known that for a while, then you should make sure that you get a platform, right, that you can use as a weapon, and you should excoriate your mother because you're disappointed in her behavior and her actions and whatnot. That's what you should do. I find it hilarious. I find it absolutely fucking hilarious that that's the case. If you're going to try and virtue signal to folks, at least be consistent. At least be consistent. If you are so shocked and appalled by what Imp did, then you should have probably handled it behind closed doors. If that was the goal. You have a choice whether or not on how you interact with people. But it's interesting that people chose this route. I'll talk about Tommy Sotomayor later. I have no love for him. So, Jeff, this is what this is directed towards. So folks on the show decided that the best way to interact now, we're just making sneak dissing videos towards one another, and that's evidently that's what we're doing. So that's what we're doing. That's fine. But I would love. Here's what I would love. Just all bullshit aside. Instead of people trying to be patronizing to folks, instead of people virtue signaling, instead of all this other bullshit, how about we actually have a sit down? How about we actually have a discourse? As much as people like to reference Ozzy, it was interesting that Ozzy was on there saying that he didn't like the way that this situation was handled. Yep, Carlton. You got it. That's what I'm curious about. If we're all skeptics and we're all rational and we're all trying to go at it and trying to debunk stuff and all this cool stuff that we like to say, why isn't that happening here? Because this is the equivalent of a G+ battle rap. Like that's what this literally has turned into now. I don't treat my friends the way that some of these folks treat their so-called friends. I'm not sure if so many people actually have friends. But it is what it is, right? I've formed bonds with people who are on G+. I have. They have traits that are distasteful that, you know what, I learned about in real life. And I've learned about online. I've seen them culminate into different things. But you know what? And people should really, really pay attention to what I'm about to say. And I mean really close. I've seen some shit that I should have cut some folks off a long time ago. I should have really cut their ass off because they're unstable. They should get some fucking help. But you know what? I said no. I'm not gonna parade their shit around because I got a little bit too much respect for them. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna demand that they show up on my proverbial front door and explain themselves in front of people. For what? For what? That's not my job. I'm not their parent. I didn't require that of that person, but it's weird now that this person takes part in something like that, which I could have easily done. That's real interesting that I find. So if we're talking about people whose feelings are hurt and feelings of betrayal, I still got enough respect not to do that. Still have enough respect for him. That's the only thing I'm pointing out, is the hypocrisy here. People have enough emotional intelligence to understand when you're tacitly questioning allegiances and drawing these lines in the sand. Because this shit's ridiculous. This shit's absolutely ridiculous. There's people I don't fucking care for on here. And y'all know it, and I don't make it a big deal. There's all types of shit. I don't feel the need to blow this shit up. I really don't. Because you know what? I got better shit to do. Absolutely. But when I say that this shit's for clicks and views, here's why. What exactly is supposed to come of this? What are some people? Let's play pretend for a second, folks. No one talks to Emperor Atheist anymore. He becomes persona non grata. How does that help defeat homophobia? How does that help progress conversation about folks who express views that we don't like? This idea that he didn't disclose the unsavory parts of himself upon entering into this relationship, I find absolutely hysterical. No one walks into a relationship with another person, platonic or otherwise, with a enumerated list of their faults. Nobody actually does that. No one would get in a relationship with people if you had a list of your flaws or things that people find unsavory about you. That's the problem here. I don't know where this idea came from, but that's not realistic. I didn't do that with my wife, and I certainly didn't do that with anybody that I encountered on G+. I didn't say, all right, folks, let me know if you're racist or not. All right, let me know if you're a homophobe or not. I don't know, and I don't care. I'll find out soon enough. And if that's the case, we will talk, especially if we're adults. We will have words, and we will probably have more words and more words later. And if it comes to a point where I think that you're just unredeemable, say, okay, we gotta separate. That's it. That's it. But no one has a list with them at all times. And each and every time they meet a new person, hey, I want to be your friend. Hey, where's your list? I need to see that this, and this. No, those are no-goes. Could you get rid of them? That's not realistic. And I'm paraphrasing, as our favorite person likes to say. But yeah, that's the thing. And when she spoke to him, it's weird how that works. People who continue to have discourse with him, behind closed doors, out in the public, whatever, found out what he was actually trying to say. It's weird how that worked. And multiple people did that, including myself. But the people who were supposedly his friends and they did all this, that, and the other, and have the audacity to say, I want to know, out of curiosity, how many of those folks actually know his real name? I'm just like, a part of me is just, I love that that you know folks so well, but people still think Alex Legends is his real name. Like that to me, it's such a small thing, but it's the little things that count in my mind. It's the little things. It's the little things that you have to pay attention to. Those little things. But when you feel the need to go out of pocket and start casting that net real wide on our show for some reason, which ironically enough, the Three Black Heathens show, Imp hasn't even been showing up. So I'm not sure how like we got roped into that, because me and Nate were talking about that, and it's like, you know what? Me and him really didn't care if they did that to Imp. Like, that's like, just to be honest with you, really didn't care. Because Imp's a big boy, and you know what? He needs to take his licks if that's what he means. But when you start doing this tacitly guilt by association, I'm not directly saying the person who said this is a hypocrite, but if you draw that conclusion from the state of affairs, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that. There's no point of doing all that. There's literally no point in doing all that. That's ridiculous. That's too much. Okay? Way too much. Anytime that you ask people to check their left and right, you give a shit about who they're around. It doesn't matter what follows after that. That's the purpose of telling people to do that. People should already know where they feel comfortable with. You don't have to signal that to them. Everybody's aware of that. I'm pretty sure folks who have gotten to the age of 20 to 25 understand that the people you're around can either make you feel good or bad or indifferent. There's no reason to do that unless you actually want to make that a point. So, yes, I know you're a person who gets misunderstood, Athena. So, it's weird to me, of all the things that get highlighted here, because again, other people outside of this realm watched that display. And it wasn't just one person at all. Let me make that abundantly clear. It wasn't just one person or two people. It was a whole bunch of folks, and some folks didn't even know what the hell was going on, which is odd if we're spanking our friend here that we care about so much. So much. Ugh, my heart. All that fucking crying and shit. It's too much. Why? Really? So, I'm letting this go on for a little while so people can catch it live. So people can see the look on my face. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. But this will be made into a whole new saga. It's fine, folks. It'll be a whole new saga, not for clicks, not for views, not so people can subsist upon it and not get a job. But it'll be a whole new thing where the non-sex show is going to show you that they're about quality. They're going to show you, folks. And by all means, I would love to see. Matter of fact, you should probably reach out to Mario or Mandisa and see what they think, actually, because that's going to be fun. Actually, you should do that. Actually, reach out to some black atheists. I want to see this. I want to see this, folks, and watch them not do this. Reach out to black atheists who really haven't been on the show, haven't really been dealing much with it, but they watched it. And you ask them if they handled that situation correctly. And listen to their responses. That's a challenge. Because y'all going to see something very interesting. Now, mind you, I've only reached out to two. But you know what's interesting is that I had a few other black atheists contact me. And there were some interesting comments made. Things that I was thinking that I didn't say. And the optics are there. The optics are definitely there. So, I don't know what that means for them or their show, but word travels fast. There's only a handful of us out here. But it don't look good. It doesn't look good. And by no means you don't need my endorsement, but when you do shit like that, that says something. That definitely says something. So if we're going to make this about LGBTQ stuff, then we're definitely going to make it about black stuff. It's going to go there because even when people who aren't black go, you know what, this rubs me the wrong way, you know something's bad. You know something's wrong. But this is supposed to be your friend. Has this sort of thing happened before, or was an exception made for Imp to weaponize his platform? That's weird. Only if you do that against, white nationalists. You know what? Everyone has their hang-ups. I mean, if I If I really hate something, I dedicate time to it, not to give it a platform and to play footsies with it. But when you go out of your way and shit like this, that's when that's when people start to say, what the fuck's going on here? That's what I'm talking, because it's like I don't think that I can ever get to a point in time on YouTube where I can demand somebody's presence. As even if I have open hangouts with the idiot, he is not obligated at any point in time in his fucking life to show up. I will never be full of myself where I need him to show up. Now I can put on a fucking good song and dance and say, all right, I'm calling you out, grr. Put up your dukes and entertain y'all for the 30 minutes that I know he's not going to show up. It's not even about tribalism, it's about validation game. Hey man, you didn't tap dance. I know. That's fine though. Because people are going to have to ask themselves, man, they barely even knew Emperor. But then they decided to weaponize the platform against him. Man, let's see who's next on that. Let's see who actually calls him out. Because that's going to be interesting. That's going to be real interesting. So, but that's fine. That's perfectly fine. In my experience, shit gets exposed eventually. It is what it is. People should not take this stupid shit seriously. Because I tell you what, this hasn't actually impacted Imp in any way, shape, or form. He's still doing his events. He is still making money. He's still making pretty good money. And then he's showing people these videos and these clips, and Patron's being spilled and folks are laughing. That's it. That's it. But I definitely wanted to highlight these things because it's not about my ego. It's not about your ego. It's not about who has the bigger fan base. It's not about who's making money off of who, which is like cool. You know, if you can make money off of this shit, cool. Just don't exploit people. That's the point that I make there. Don't exploit people for views and clicks. That's no. Not if they're your friend. If you actually care about them. I can exploit an idiot all day. People should exploit Von Helden. He's a user. Shresh, you've been trying to explain the non-sec. And I tell you, you can try all you want, Shresh. They really think it impacts them. They have, but that's the thing, Shresh. They don't actually know him. They don't actually know him at all. That's why we were laughing about it. That's why they were laughing. Like, it's like, what if you don't realize the stuff that he's saying? He's being hyperbolic, but there's truth to what he's saying. He's not losing anything. This isn't actually impacting him. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't criticize somebody. You should definitely criticize some of the content of what was going on in there. But if you're not addressing the point that he's actually making after the clarification, then you're addressing a straw man. You know, people ought to reach out on both sides of the issue, both sides making that conclusion. That's fair enough. But I think that when you put yourself in a position to presume that people need to come on your platform to address the issue that they find that's pertinent, that's when you get a bit beyond yourself. No one's obligated to come on any platform and do any goddamn thing. So, someone doesn't have a decent fan base, they'll use a platform just to crush that person and intentionally try to run them off the internet. I guess that's a show of force, but that's silly. That's why I make myself easily accessible. I have a Discord. People can just hop in and give me shit. You can record it if you want to. I don't give a shit. But it's like, don't get so full of your fucking self, thinking that's how you're supposed to handle social interactions for people you care about. I don't treat people I care about like that. people that I understand and know to some degree, I don't treat them like that. That's what's going on. People taking shit. And they're putting it out there like this is a big fucking deal. It's YouTube politics. That's exactly what it is. And it's like, okay, if we're concerned now with what people are saying, well, now think about this. Why wasn't this paid attention to? If we're so focused on what people are actually saying, why was the decision made to tacitly have people question their association, which you definitely need to always do? Why wasn't that type of attention paid to when Imp made his clarification on his actual point? Again, these are things that people should be asking themselves. Like that's what I find interesting. Now people are really, I could have sworn Imp clarified his position before people went live. But if you didn't care enough to go and actually read his position and to actually understand if you didn't actually speak to Imp your motherfucking self, shut the fuck up. That's real. For those who have met me, that's real. If you did not reach out to Imp and you are getting on these platforms trying to give people tacit advice on how to handle him, shut your motherfucking mouth. Because you don't know shit. I can't get any more real than that. Can't get any more real than that. Because you don't know what's going on. You have no idea. You're taking advice from people who ain't left their fucking house in months and days and years. Who look like shit. Who ain't doing shit with their fucking life. You taking advice from idiots who ain't did a goddamn thing. But stunt on the internet. Meanwhile, you're losing folks. You're losing folks. Because that shit was not cute. That shit was not cute at all. At all. It's weird, but he's your friend. But he's people's friends. You had trust in him. I thought I knew him. Ugh. You ain't no shit. You know a goddamn thing. Thank you, Bobby. I don't need money for this. I don't. Because it's fucking stupid. It's absolutely fucking stupid. I don't know how people define friends here. That's something to me. That's something to me that seems so weird. Because we agree that these people are idiots. We're friends. No, that's not how you form friends. You actually get to know that person. Their strengths, their weaknesses, their faults, everything. And you either draw the line and say, you know what? This is too much for me. I'm not going to work with this person to make them a better person. And have the same happen to me. But at no point in time do I feel obligated to blow somebody's shit up that I call a friend. Not like that. So, if you're asking like how I feel about this, me personally, if you can discard somebody like that, they were never your friend in the first place. Because I don't agree with that. If I'm going to go out on a limb and call somebody my friend that I knew on the internet, maybe I should take some time to actually understand them. Where did it come from? There's another challenge for folks on non-sec. Imp alluded quite a few times in the thread to why he has the views that he does about homosexuals. And you even saw a few other people mention or reference this. It has a lot to do with his view on, let's say, black politics, edification of black folks. And there's definitely layers to that. How many of y'all actually asked him about that? Because he's referenced it in conversations he's had with me. Did any of y'all talk to him about that at any point in time? Now, watch this become something else. The reason I asked that It's not that that's somehow supposed to absolve him in any way, shape, or form. It's not, because I don't agree with it myself. But did you actually try to disabuse him of the view by understanding the root of it? Just like we do with Flat Earth, just like we do with creationists and the lot. We see where it comes from, and then we try to root it out. Did anybody take the time to do that? Because if you didn't know that there was a certain ethnocentric kind of tinge to this, then you really didn't know him. You really didn't know anything about what he was saying. Because now people are starting to kind of learn some of the background here from me. You hadn't heard me say anything like this, but how did I know about it? Well, because I actually paid attention to him. And I had a phone call with somebody yesterday, and I will touch on this for a little bit. From what I've seen, EA wrote that I disagree with some of that. However, I've never seen any such reaction from non-sect toward anyone they had. Oh, really? They had on their show. They had even more harmful views. That's why I get a vibe that Steve lashed out at EA simply because of their past. He just found an excuse to do so. Oh, well. Well, Nestle, that could be. I don't know. That's a possibility. I don't know why Steve would feel so insecure to do that, but I'm not in his head. I don't think he's in his head, but it is what it is. But if we're trying to get at the root of why somebody believes something they believe, how do you do that by turning a platform to attack somebody you said was your friend? I don't. Maybe I need a clarification video. And how do people think that because they have a certain number of views and subscribers on the internet that actually makes them worthy enough to do some shit like this? They didn't expect that from him. Meanwhile, people who are openly homophobic get a pass because it's expected from them. Now, here's what I find interesting. Ever since I've known Emperor, I knew that he has certain views about homosexuals. It was never a surprise. And this is, I'm going to touch on that, folks. I'm going to touch on that. It's weird that me and Nate knew that off the bat, but the people who were supposedly his friends somehow didn't pick up on that. Well, it has, and again, this is a conversation I had somebody on the phone. They don't actually listen to Emperor Atheist. Emperor Atheist doesn't code switch like I do. He doesn't code switch like Nate does. They don't actually listen to him. They hear certain things that he's saying, but they're not actively listening to anything because it's literally everywhere. There's instances of him saying stuff like this everywhere and other things that are unsavory. None of them actually listen to Emperor Atheist, nor tried to actually understand him. Now, I could probably give you 3 or 4 different reasons why, but that's on them. That's on them. That's their failing to actively pay attention to somebody who's probably not in their social circles in real life. You can take that for what you will. But something tells me the type of guy Imp isn't the type of people that they're used to dealing with. I'll say that. But me, Nate, and other people who honestly aren't within his social group understood that about Imp long time ago. Long time ago. Before his thing with G-Man and that thing, we've been known that. But for some reason, folks didn't pick up on that. It's because they didn't actually pay attention to him. They weren't actually interested in it. So you have to ask yourself, you don't take your time to understand somebody, then you get surprised when they have a view that's unsavory. And so you briefly talk about it for a little bit. You don't really dig any deeper and say, hey, you know, what's at the core of this? What's up? You don't communicate with them outside of your need to have them appear on your fucking show. or to appear in public, and you expect to foster some type of bond with people? Is that how this works? Man. It's an interesting view of a friend. Because friend almost, in this case, seems somebody that I can use when it's convenient for me. That's because when I hear friend in this realm, that's what it almost always translates to. And it doesn't matter what group we're talking about or what faction or whatever people want to, I don't recall EA being ambiguous. No, he's not. But if you actually listen to him, it's quite clear where he stands. But his friends now are so shocked and surprised. Same friends who don't know where it comes from. Same friends that don't know his real name. Same friends who spent so much time invested in trying to understand him as a person. Oh. Please. Don't mistake using Emperor and speaking to him barely enough to keep him as a token with him being your fucking friend. Because at the end of the day, that's what he was, a fucking token. If you don't agree with me, go ask him. If you think I'm making that up, if you think I'm lying, I don't have evidence, go ask Emperor Atheist. Go contact him. Go contact him right now and ask him, were you a token for the Non Sequitur show? Go ask him. See what he says. I've not talked to him since that. At all. I'll show you my messages. Go ask him. You might be shocked as to what he says. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes that's the role you play. When the cards are on the table, you say, okay, cool. I'll play the token black guy. That's fine. But don't bullshit me and say, oh no, we're friends. And then pull some shit like this. I didn't expect this from a friend thing. I hear, don't much make sense to me. If I hear someone say horrible things from a friend, I would address in a much more civil manner compared to how I address open bigots who aren't my friends. Again, Nestle, that's a good point. That's a good point. Because that's what I keep, that's what I kind of keep coming back to. Is why exactly is a friend being treated the same way that you treat Saitin Brugengate or Steven Anderson, who has much more abhorrent views when it comes to gays. But I guess there there's some common ground there that they found with Steven Anderson or JF than with Emperor. I don't know. I could only imagine. I'm not in these people's heads. I'm not socially retarded. So, I agree, Bunny. YouTube beefs are so necessary, but what's an estrogen gay man? Your guess is as good as mine, Dinah. Maybe that's some Atlanta bullshit. I have no idea. I'm guessing that's some Atlanta bullshit. I don't know what an estrogen gay. Now, hopefully I've addressed a number of points that were made, and if you don't know by now, the views and opinions here are expressly mine. Take them with a grain of salt. Do your own research. Go and actually talk to people. They didn't treat him like Saitin. They treated him worse. At least from what I've seen. Did non-sex similar views towards Saitin? Well, they didn't have rapport. Nestle. They weren't friends. They were not friends. That's what's wrong. They were not friends. And the people who are offering commentary on this who don't know him, what is that supposed to mean either? That's what kills me. That's what kills me. Somebody's like, I don't know what's going on. Really? So they brought you on here to give your 2 cents on shit that you don't know about either? Really? That's cool. Let's get a mob. Let's lynch him. I mean, let's excoriate him, because that's what this platform is about. We're not about the drama, folks. Remember, they're not about the drama. They're definitely not about the drama at any point in time, because it's a business model for dialogue and for stuff, Right. Goddamn. Yeah, I am going to continue to stream from yesterday. I just want to address it because this is funny. This is legit fucking hilarious to me. So yeah, we'll continue to stream from tomorrow. Kind of toss around the idea of doing a stream for Von Helton, but I think I'm not going to be spearheading that one. Probably not going to be spearheading that one. I think I have an idea for somebody else to do it. Somebody who's better, more knowledgeable than Von Helton. But yeah, we'll pick this back up. I'm curious as to how he did in his marathon. I hope he did well. I hope he did very well in his marathon. I hope. Don't get me wrong. I have criticisms of folks and how they handle shit on the internet. Some of these folks, I don't know. Like, I don't know them well enough, but some of them I just wish would be better. It is what it is. We all got our faults. I don't really take this shit personally. I think it's hilarious that it needs to be dragged out this far, while at the same time stating the platform is for this, but it's really, whatever. But I'm gonna go lay down with my wife and molest her and maybe play some Dragon Quests later and look over some shit for a physiology course. But it's funny. He made his goal 3 hours 27. That's good. That's good. I'm glad he. I think people need real life goals. Because this is a race timer on Discord. Awesome. I haven't looked through everything on Discord yet. I just woke up. They put it up there. Yep. Running a 10-minute, almost a 10.5-minute mile. Why did y'all dox him? Why did y'all dox him on here? I see his full name. 3 hours, 27 minutes, and 2 seconds. Good job, G-Man. Wait, what was his ranking? Holy shit! Yeah, I'm gonna keep this up. Yeah, because I think people need to see it. Right? I kept up the bout me and Fiona had. So I don't think that's something, because this is a learning experience. I don't, if people contact me behind closed, they say, you know what, hey man, some of us been talking, it's probably best you take that down, and they give me a reason. You know what? Then I'll take it. I won't delete it, but I'll take it down. And because I've done that before, I've done that for G-Man videos. But for this, I think this is a learning experience. I think this is a pretty good learning experience for folks. Yes, the ATH Links website has doxed G-Man. He needs to take them to jail. There were 1,693 participants in the race, and so G-Man's position is 1,684. So there you go. He did a lot better than me. So he met his goal. So it is what it is. But anyway, folks, if y'all don't walk away with anything other than, because I know there are folks who are just going to go, you said something bad about my favorite YouTube guy. I'm gonna type you something mean. I don't care. Let me say it again. I don't care. I don't care. It's not hard to reach me. If you really want to holler at me, holler at me. But your actions speak louder than your words. That's the type of person I've always been. Your actions speak way louder than your words. Sometimes people fuck up. I got it. How they overcome that, them acknowledging where they've messed up, is the true measure of a person. That's something that I stick by. And so that's why when I see these weird instances on the interwebs and I say something about it and people get an itch, because they know I'm right. They know I don't come on here and BS people. I'm pretty dead on with my observations because I watch people. You could say that I was trained to do it. So if you're missing big chunks of this, Jeff, which I'm guessing you're Jay's brother, Jay's twin, you were missing big chunks of it because you were only shown in a video certain parts of it. If the screenshots that I'm showing here seem foreign to you, that's because they were not included in the original broadcast for whatever reason. And you can look at the date on that 6 days ago. If you're a bit confused as to why you're seeing this and you didn't see it before, you have to ask yourself, if the people that are trying to excoriate somebody for a position they have and what they presented is in contrast to what's here, then ask yourself why they didn't show it. You could also ask yourself why they didn't just wait to talk to him. You could ask yourself that, because it would seem easier for me, especially if someone was your friend, to just wait, even if they weren't showing up. You have a decision whether or not to click the button. If people are going to ask themselves something, ask them why did these exist on Emperor's page, right? But for some reason, they did not make it to the broadcast in verbalized form or in text form. That makes me wonder. It makes me really wonder. I mean, I'll be in Discord, but I wouldn't count on any type of real, because there's no resolution to this shit. There's never resolution to folks doing shit like this. Because if you were to ask, well, what was the point of all that? What was the point of doing all that? Unless your goal was to tell people to excoriate Emperor, then what actually changed? Because I'm willing to say, you know what? Maybe the motivation was just pure emotions. There were no ulterior motives, yada yada, fine. So what was the end goal then? When you plotted out the course of events, what is supposed to happen next that's constructive here? If this isn't about drama, what's supposed to happen next? Right? Who does a platform get weaponized against next? Who's a friend? Who's next? Who stands up and says, hey, there's something wrong with all this? I thought y'all were better than this. And of course, addressing the optics. Why, when this video in question makes it around to other circles, that people pretty much come to the same conclusion. And it's not a good one at all. Not a good one. So, who knows? Conditional friendship. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. So, while folks are asking stuff, I implore people, because I evidently have to say this, take what I say with a grain of salt. All views and opinions here are expressed are mine. I have not contacted Nate nor Emperor in any way, shape, or form concerning this video. I do what the hell I want to. But what you should do, what I implore all people to do, go and talk to Emperor Atheist. Go and ask him what his views are, because some of them I definitely don't agree with. And even before we started the show, I told people I don't agree with him. But you know what? That's what discourse is about. That's what having conversations and dialogue is about. That's what that's about. I don't dialogue with the retard from New Jersey. I don't. But people that I consider my friends, people who aren't persona non grata, I have a discourse with, because I disagree with them. There are things I disagree with Sokka on, like abortion. I don't feel the need to blow his shit up, because we've had multiple conversations about it. Because I find his views disgusting. I don't do that. Nate is in Vegas in a high rollers table, spending more money than I pay in taxes. So Nate does not give a shit about any of it. That's right. Nate's going to be, if y'all didn't know, Nate is going to be attending a conference. Check this shit out. Just so we can end this on a fun note, an interesting note, just to juxtapose like internet bullshit with actually changing shit in real life, because I have to point that out. Everyone here has heard of the bar exam, right? Raise your hand if you've heard of the bar exam. I've heard of the bar exam. I'm not a lawyer. I don't do legalese. I've heard of it. You need to pass the bar exam in most states, to practice law. Well, they're thinking about nixing the bar exam. Now imagine that. Imagine you're able to become a lawyer without the bar exam, one of the most stressful tests that you could take, in the United States by far. What if they got rid of it? Well, Nate's going to be part of the conference where they decide whether or not they're going to get rid of it. Now, how much clout do you have to have in real life to make a decision? Because it's the national bar exam. Now, I've talked to Nate briefly about this, and so they're trying to think of another system where they can weed people out. So they're not just going to get rid of it and just nothing. Anybody can practice law. No. But it may have it so whereas, there's a performance-based system. They can set up mock trials, and you can do 5 mock trials, and, you get scored by a panel of, 8 lawyers who are testers. And so based on your performance, whether or not you'll be certified, they're trying to come up with a different system if possible. But think about how much clout you have to have in real life to make that type of decision, to be a part of that. That's what Nate's doing. That's what he's part of. So when I turn and I look and I say, wait, who really cares what people on the internet think about you? That's what I look at. That's what I look at. That is so far beyond so many people's abilities in life right now that it's unimaginable that you are literally changing the landscape of an entire field. Because that'll open so many doors to people. That will definitely open doors if they turn into a different, maybe a performance-based system. But man. Or you finish your PhD and you start making $1 million right off the bat, like that. And then move to place, maybe Houston, with better standard of living. Money goes faster, go further. Making big moves in real life. Because that's what I'm about. So, speaking of that, I guess it looks like it's about that time. I am actually making some moves in real life. Some of you have heard, and I'm waiting to hear back from some folks on a professional front and kind of on a atheist deist, landscape. There's certain other moves that I'm beginning to make as well, and you will be informed on those as they come available. So I will be getting more involved with organizations outside of this, because it seems that the longer you stay in this weird little realm, in this microcosm, the more people's minds get impacted, and they seem to think that means something. Now, again, let me clarify. You can impact people's lives over the internet. You can. It's much better to do it face to face. Some of these conversations need to be had in person. To truly get to know somebody, you might want to actually meet them. If you really value dialogue, being with another physical person has a big impact on that. Especially when it comes to visibility. Just saying. So, that's what I'm about. I'm not here to tell you how to run your life. These are the things that I value. You live your life. If you gain some type of, credence from doing shit on the internet, then cool. I'm not coming to New Jersey. Not New Jersey is a shithole. If you've just failed in life and you just want to reside on the internet, then cool. That's your thing. But some of us have bigger plans than that. Some of us have bigger plans than to, do this shit. Because this channel won't last forever. It has an expiration date. And I don't continue on, don't plan on wasting time, because I've been kind of chatting for an hour answering certain questions. But anyway, if you didn't gain anything from this, then awesome. There was nothing to gain. That was the point. This is pointless. All of it. Every last bit of it. Even the shit that I said. Pointless. Other than, y'all have a nice day.